Hello, everybody. Welcome. Nice to have you here. My name is Virginia Espinola Boyd, and I am a mentor with SCORE. Probably most of you know who we are, but I just want to make sure that we understand what we do. We help small businesses like yours to succeed. That is our passion. That is what we like to do. We have dedicated expert business volunteers to help you in that endeavor. So who are we? We are the nation's largest network of volunteer mentors dedicated to helping small businesses since 1964. And we have provided education and mentorship for over 11 million entrepreneurs. That's impressive. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. I think that's very impressive. So I welcome you once again. We have other mentors here, and I would like just for them to stand up and say their name.
Chris Alden, been in SCORE about 6 months now.
Great. Thank you, Chris, for being here.
Mark England, I've been with SCORE, I guess, 3 years now, I think.
Absolutely, that's great. And we have Dima, who without her, I don't know what we would do. Go ahead.
Hi guys, I'm looking at this one too. I'm Dima Khatib. I've been with SCORE for also about 6 months, and I support for workshops and other activities within the challenge.
She co-chairs, and John Boone, who is taking care of our video. Thank you so much. And I would like to introduce Raleigh, who is going to talk to us about the location that we have right here.
Hi, everybody. I'm Raleigh DeLeon. I'm a SCORE volunteer. I've been around for like 2 years with SCORE. I used to be a franchisee with Chick-fil-A as an owner-operator. But I have a question for y'all. How many of you are taxpayers? Raise your hand. All right. So we're all taxpayers here. And indirectly, whether those of you there on video or not, you know, we're part of the Small Business Administration. So we pay for that. We fund that to a degree, right? But then the people that are the SCORE volunteers in the room that have incredible talents, and I've just had a privilege of learning about that they're just giving their time and energy and talent, and their talent that I've been around. That's one reason why I'm involved in SCORE, because I get to be around some really sharp people that make me look really good and make me smarter than I already am. So anyways, I just highly encourage you, where do you see people that are willing to give their time and energy towards such a great cause? So SCORE is wonderful. And so I just appreciate Dima and Virginia's leadership that we have. But what's also kind of cool, because of what people believe in, what SCORE is about, we also have a relationship with the loading dock. And this is one of 3 locations. What an incredible vision that Philip Freeman had in creating an environment where, one, you can have co-working space, you can also have a warehouse space if you're trying to grow your business. I know a guy that's got a medical device business that he's working out of one of these locations. So it's amazing the talent you get to see. So if you're looking to integrate and meet people, what a great environment. But also for us as SCORE volunteers to partner with a loading dock, it's a great opportunity for us to give back. A great place for us to meet without having to be in a large, loud coffee room, right? So anyways, I just wanted to let you know a little about the loading dock. If you have any questions about the loading dock, you can ask me. I'd love to let you know more about it, see how you could get involved. It's a great environment if you're looking to grow your business, start a business. Oh, thank you so much. And just on cue, we have these QR code cards. So if there's something that you want to get a free day pass, it's a really neat environment. People, you'll have, I think tomorrow's like free pancake breakfast. I mean, it's just crazy things that they do that's fun, great, fun, positive environment. And that's the pitch about the loading dock. Any questions about that real quick? So most importantly, we have Ashley with us. Is it McCarthy?
Yeah. Whatever you want to call me, I'll answer to.
Well, I went to military school, so whatever they call me, I answer to. But I got to meet Ashley before this, and NC State grad, local person. And I'll just tell you right now, you don't have a seatbelt on, you may want to. She is passionate about marketing, having been involved with marketing myself. It can be really squishy, right? You know, you want business owners, you want to say, I put $3,000 in there, I want to make 3,500 bucks back based upon my investment. And I think it's a tough world to navigate, right? But it's one of those things you just keep pushing for. But I'm real excited about listening to her talk about this. And without further ado,
Thank you. I will go ahead and get us started. If you are on Zoom and you can hear me and see me, give a thumbs up in the chat so we know you're there and we know you are good to go. For the people who are on Zoom, we have a variety of people in room and not in room. So what I'm going to do is we're going to be very interactive today. So to the people in the room, it's going to be a little annoying when I repeat what you say, but I have the mic and they can hear me better than they can hear you guys. So we're going to answer questions, go along, but we'll be a little bit more repetitive than we normally are. Sound good? Everybody good with that? And if anybody else comes in and you want to sit up here, I don't spit. And you get more if you sit up front. My name's Ashley. I'm the president of Abundant Marketing. I have also been a part of SCORE on and off since 2017, 2018. I really believe in what SCORE is doing and how we're helping local small businesses. SCORE is the way that I give back because I deal firsthand in small businesses day in and day out. And when I can help, I love to help. So that is why we're here today. We're going to start and kick this off because I'm an incredibly interactive speaker by going around the room and sharing your name, your business name, and a one sentence on what your business does. If you have not started your business yet and you are still kind of dreaming it, play with us, tell us what you're dreaming of, and we'll go that way. If you are on Zoom, we're going to pick the top 2 or 3 businesses and share. So share it in the chat right now, your name, your business name, and what your business does. You're going to go first, sir. Ian, if you were going to start a business, what would it be?
Holiday, all year round holiday store. Essentially.
A holiday store. Ian, we're going to have some fun with you today. So, you're next up. Yeah. What idea are we playing with today?
It's like the e-commerce.
Okay, so we're starting an e-commerce business. Oh, that's fun. We got a lot of variety in the room. All right, up next, Raleigh.
yeah, Raleigh, a former franchisee, and I'm a business broker. So what we do is we help create good deals for good people. So bringing up buyers and sellers and in a robust marketplace.
So Raleigh is a business broker. Up next. Perfect. Sounds great. So we have Beatrice and home healthcare. Amy. So we have Amy with let's call it a sauce business. Is that appropriate? Okay, cool.
So those are the 2 businesses.
Sounds good. So dancewear and art technology.
Yeah.
Awesome. Up next. So let's play with nutrition because that's established. So Lindsay, and you're a nutritional practice.
Yes.
Awesome. Next. Very cool. So Peter, landscape design. Up next. Oh, we have some networking that probably should happen here. So consulting, getting ready for sale. So financial advising. Up next. Awesome. So business roundtable. We'll play with business roundtable. Up next. You should look into parent coaching. So let's call that you today because that is an exploding industry, just very necessary in the world we live in. So we'll play with that as we go. Oh, perfect. All right, and then we're at the end. So we've got Dima. Dima, do you want to introduce yourself and then your favorite SCORE people? Yep. So I'll reiterate. So Dima is our chat for everybody who is kind of watching along. She is our chat. She has a background in HR management and consulting, and then she's going to pick her favorite few businesses she wants to share. Okay, cybersecurity. So we got a lot on the Zoom call. Jewelry designers. Cool. Awesome. Well, we have a big room and we're going to have some fun and play with everybody's businesses today. Just a couple of housekeeping points. I am incredibly interactive. I have no issue with you raising your hand, making weird eye contact with me, and we can ask and answer questions as we go along. Every time I do this presentation, it looks a little different. So ask the questions. Let's make sure you get the information you want. Please have a note sheet out because we will kind of take notes as we go. I don't normally do note sheets because this will be kind of what you want to write down, what you want to keep, what works for your business. So without further ado. Oh, sorry. We forgot Miss Virginia. Oh, very cool. Virginia is a teacher at Wake Tech. So we're going to have some fun with her. I didn't know that. Now I feel like I'm being watched. So if you are interested in volunteering with SCORE, SCORE is a really good way to hone your skills. When I was more prevalent with SCORE, I got called in on all the big marketing problems. So when someone has something big, hairy, and messy, it got shoved in my inbox, which was a lot of fun. So there's so many opportunities to volunteer if you are interested. All right, here we go. Before we can talk about anything marketing-wise, we have to determine where we are going. A lot of people have a bad habit of starting a business with no goal in mind. And I don't mean just like, I want to grow to $1 million company. I mean, like, what does that mean? Are we trying to help people? What is your plan? So we need 1, a vision for the company, and then 2, where you want to be in 1 year. So if we don't have our business yet, maybe our first 3 months is going to be planning things out. And then the next 9 months is going to be scaling, and we put a revenue goal on paper. Like, I would like to replace my full-time income within a year. That's a good one. Can you hit the arrow one more time? So I'm going to have you answer these 2 questions first, so we know where we're going on your piece of paper, because it looks like we did get note sheets. What is your vision for your business, and then where you want to be in 1 year. I've simplified this in a 1 or 2 questions. So sometimes people will struggle with their vision. If you are struggling with your vision, typically you're going to be a 1 or a 2. A 1 is somebody who wants to create a business because they have a passion. So parent coaching is a passion. Trying to think of another passion. Nutrition. Nutrition is a passion. Home healthcare is typically a passion-based business. Or you are a 2. The business was not offered in your market, or you thought you could do it better. Technically, I'm a 2, because when I started my business, there was like 1 guy doing marketing. I started over 10 years ago. There's plenty of us now, but it was 1 other guy. So it wasn't offered. If you're struggling with vision, are you a passion, or are you filling in a need? And that might help you figure out what your vision is going to be. Whoops, that. It's there, yeah. Mike's there. And then I just tapped it. So sorry for everybody on Zoom who's now having listened to that. If you are on Zoom and you want to share, let's share what our goal is going to be in 1 year, because we have a lot of people in the room. Take a moment and share that in the chat. Is there anybody in the room who wants to share what their 1 year goal will be? If you don't say yes, I'll look at you. Yes. Selling at the farmer's market. I love that. That's a really good one. Do you want to do it as a revenue goal of what you're hoping to sell on a regular basis at farmer's market? Or do you want to do it as a goal for the number of farmer's markets you could be at?
Revenue in one spot first, kind of learn the ropes, and then hopefully reach out to some local food businesses and get the product stocked.
I love that. So for anybody on Zoom, our first goal is our soft business, and she wants to do farmers market. So we're going to set a low, like kind of a small revenue goal, but the goal is also kind of secondary to learn how the farmers markets work, get comfortable, and then see if she can get placed in other stores, which is a great goal. I would also set your goal as a marketing perspective to really develop a follow-up once they come to the farmers market. How do we get them as a consistent client in case they don't come back? Because some people go to farmers markets once a year. All right, question from Zoom.
No, goal.
Okay.
So my goal is to obtain 1 to 2 embroidery contracts with a company or company.
Ooh, that's an awesome one. So like big companies needing embroidered shirts, that's a really good goal.
That's 5 consistent clients.
5 consistent clients. I love that. That's probably in something that's monthly recurring, correct?
I'll get it.
Okay.
One person to develop a culture and systems that support beauty entrepreneurs with mindset and business skills and establish a new location.
We'll get to that one next.
Yeah.
Yep.
1 year goal, double my personal income from the business.
I love that.
Have a team of 3 people.
Double personal income at a team of 3 people. That's a really good goal. Anybody else in the room want to share theirs? Yes.
I'm an outside profession.
Mhm.
I want in 1 year to be able to leave my job and commit full time to my business. And I want to have at least 10 clients.
I love that.
Now make me quit my job.
Yep. So leave your full-time job and have 10 regular clients so you can leave. I don't normally have these conversations, but I'm going to have it in this room. When I did this presentation 5 years ago, I had a lot of conversations about how scary it is to leave your regular income, and that sometimes you just have to take that leap. We live in a different economic world than we did 5 years ago, and I don't want to sit here and make light of that. It is scary to leave your full-time job and jump. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying that's not a good goal. That's an awesome goal. I love it. But in the day and age we live in, almost everybody I know has a side hustle. So don't be afraid to, even when you leave that full-time job, say, hey, can I do a little contract work on the side? That's not a bad option in light of our world. Not saying anything political, but economically, it's never a bad option to kind of have that. Our next slide up is to really make the numbers, to make our goals into numbers. It has to be something that we can play with number-wise. The reason I say that is because a lot of people, when it comes to business, set these goals and you set them 12 months out. So everybody should have a goal written down. It should include the word more in some way, shape, or form. A lot of people will look out and say, 12 months from now, that's where I want to be. That is how the train gets off the track and completely derails. We have to have monthly check-ins to make sure we are hitting those numbers. And if we're not from a marketing perspective, go back and try again. Now, here's my caveat. Most marketing campaigns, when you start them, it will take 2 to 3 months to really see a good result. So in month 1, don't panic. We want to see movement. We don't necessarily see return on investment. For example, the typical sales cycle in my company is 5 to 6 weeks. So if I launch a new marketing campaign and I have no new clients, it didn't necessarily not work. I might still be in the sales cycle. So I'm looking at who I had meetings with, who I had phone calls with, the traction we made there. So now our next step, we're going to take whatever our goal is and divide it by 12. So let's say our monthly income for round numbers is $2,400 a month. That is not to live off of. I'm trying to pick a round number that I can play with. $2,400 a month divided by 12 would be $200 a month. So you need to increase your sales $200 a month to get you to where you want to be at the end of the year if you're doing recurring sales. Even if you're doing one-off sales, that means I'm shooting for $200 in revenue this month, $400 in revenue, so on and so forth. Does that make sense to everybody? All right. Everybody take a moment and write down what their number is divided by 12. Yes.
My business is very seasonal.
Okay.
And
True.
that Even if I take for instance, my revenue goal for the last 3 years has been 100K in sales.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never hit that, but I will do $15,000 in a month, and then like in January it's 0.
Yep.
Just because
It's snowing.
think about
It's snowing. Who's going to get their landscape design done in January? Yeah.
And just so those hard divisions don't work for me.
So sometimes what we're going to do in seasonal businesses, because the question is, what do you do in a seasonal business? Like we have a holiday store, you're going to crush it. October, November, December. The rest of the year, you're going to have to pick other holidays. So what you're going to do is a lot of people will do it by quarter, or they will find an additional service that they can throw in their business, because if you're having seasonal income, it's probably stressing your business finances out somewhere too. So can we add something in during a winter month? For example, could you do Christmas lights in December? That's not necessarily fun getting on a ladder doing that, but could you do in January something around making sure if it snows, their architect isn't completely destroyed, or protection or something along those lines? Can we add those additional services in? If there is no place to add those additional services in, what a lot of companies who are a little bigger than you will pre-sell. So if somebody books a job for May now and puts a little bit down, then it's like a payment plan almost type situation. That can kind of even things out. But in any business, when you're that uneven, it can become stressful very quickly. So you can look at it as a big goal. You can also break your goal down into touches. So if you need a certain number of people filling out a contact form to push for the summer, then you count contact forms. If it's a certain number of social media followers will then turn into a certain amount of sales, and you know that, we count social media followers. So in those seasonal businesses, that's kind of how we break that down and do that. Yes. 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 So the question is, what if you hit the entire goal or a good chunk of the goal in 3 months? And yes, you can absolutely adjust. Typically, if I hit that much of a goal in a month, I'm taking everybody out for ice cream cones. We're celebrating because we're not going to have inappropriate conversations in this room. We're going out to celebrate, and then I'm going to pivot my goals based on what I did. If there are so many people that need a parenting coach that you blow your goal out of the water in 6 months, that's awesome news. That is great. Let's do that. And sometimes that does happen. And we're going to have that conversation in a second of sometimes you pick marketing campaigns and they crush it. Like you just didn't see it coming. Think about think about every business that was trades during the pandemic. Like fencing companies had wait lists that were 6 months long. Did they turn their marketing off? No. But boy, were they happy for those 6 months. So you don't stop marketing. You have a plan if it gets a little out of hand and then adjust accordingly. Yep. Are there any questions coming out of Zoom? I want to make sure we didn't miss anybody in Zoom. Okay, cool. So our next step, before we can move forward and figure out what marketing campaigns we're doing, we have our annual goal. We have it divided by 12, so we know what we need to reach. Find a good place. Loading dock is a great space for events like this. You have to do your marketing. There are really cool tools and softwares like Eventbrite and Meetup that can really help you bring people in. But it's a lot of upfront work to get to that 13% ROI. Question?
What about my first?
Virtual events. Oh, great question. We're having an example of both today. So if in any same response rate, lower attendee rate. So when you sell a ticket in person, it's a 50% success rate. So 50% of the people who signed up are here. I think that might actually be a little low. Online, it is a 25 to 50% success rate, really closer towards that 25 point. So if you sell 100 tickets on Zoom, you're only going to get about 25 in there. Yes.
Where do you get the addresses?
The list. How do you get a list for direct mail campaigns? That's a fun question. You build it. If you build it, they will come. That's not a great answer. Let me step back. Crap in, crap out. So you can buy a list. You can absolutely do that where you buy a list. But a lot of those lists have been heavily picked over. The business list that I can buy, bless this poor company's heart. There is a trucking and oil company in Apex. It is always the first on every single list I've ever seen purchased. So I will typically tell people to build their list. So if we're going to do a direct mail company for our business and we're going to mail to businesses, I'm going to go through Google. I'm going to go through Google locations, look at everybody near a certain area, and I'm going to mail them with the intention of something related to that area. Like, oh, hey, you're in NC State. You're in the NC State area. As you have students come back, do you need help getting those students in your business? Or like if I felt a little crazy and wanted, this isn't really appropriate, but if I wanted to grab businesses in Asheville and say, if you need help rebuilding, they're not there yet. I would not touch that with a 10-foot pole. They're still in survival mode, but you can kind of do it based on where you're doing that. Yeah. Dima has a question. Let me grab Dima real quick. So mailing cake, if it were me, if it's a big national company and you can sell nationally and you have a good plan for preserving it, go for it. If not, I would do that as a personal touch. We've actually done this for restaurants in the area that are looking for catering orders. We will pre-prep little like catering boxes, take them to businesses and let them try it so they know what their like end product would be. That's kind of that personal touch, really developing that one-on-one relationship. Yes.
Okay, one more. What are your top tips for cold calling? How do you find contacts to call?
Great question. Same thing as direct mail. Build your own list. There are a lot of ways that you can build a list. Google, social media, you can purchase a list. I don't necessarily recommend purchasing a list, but you can do it. So that's kind of how we build those lists. If they can give me their specific business, I'll give them a little bit better of an answer on that. And then cold calling, how do we approach it? One, take a deep breath and calm down. The number of people who pick up the phone and panic has got to stop. They're not going to get through the phone. They're not going to eat you. They can't do it. They physically can't like crawl through. So calm down, take a deep breath. Your cold call script needs to be something that benefits the end user. So when we cold call as my team, I pick up the phone and say, hey, I have already seen your business online. Your marketing looks great. If something happens, we would love to be your backup plan. Can we quote being your backup plan? Sometimes I'll even get funny with them if I can really tell they have a good personality. And I'm like, if your marketer gets hit by a bus tomorrow, I want the next call to be me. God forbid that happens. We really don't want them to get hit by a bus. But if they give you that, play with them, have fun, realize they're not going to hurt you, and then make sure you know what your follow-up is going to be. A lot of people will cold call and have absolutely no follow-up plan, which we will hit in just a little bit. You can't just cold call them. You're going to have to call and then add some pieces behind. It needs to be timed appropriately. It needs to be handled appropriately. So take it slow and have a follow-up plan. Rally.
So somebody mentioned about how do you build a list?
Mhm.
I just saw something on the internet where it was like a reel and they said you would go like to Google and you do some kind of search and you just said like Apex, HVAC companies, and you could get the email addresses. You could get all these email addresses that way. And that was one way I saw it.
You could do that. You can do the same thing on LinkedIn too. If you connect with somebody on LinkedIn, you can pull contact information out of LinkedIn as well. So a lot of options on how to do that. Yes. That was a great question. So with cold calling, if you're not saved in somebody's contact list, they're just not going to answer. I'm not proud of this. My kid's school is not in my contact list. Guys, not in there. My dog's vet, not in my contact list. Anytime my phone rings and something's going on, I'm like, oh my God, is that the vet? Is that the IRS? Is this it? Is this the time I'm going to get audit? Like, you don't know what's going to run through their head. So don't limit yourself on that. B, I'm not proud of this one either. My phone system, when I call people, comes up as BC Geonomics. I don't know why. I have tried multiple times to fix it. I look horrendous when I call people and people still pick the phone up to me. So if they're picking up for me and I'm gaining clients out of it, somebody's going to pick up and think, you're the IRS. So we got to answer the IRS. We're going to run through the next two real quick, or next three, which we've already kind of hit a little bit. Expos are now coming back. They're a great way to get in front of a lot of people. They are costly to attend. So it's going to be a higher cost, but similar ROI, that 13% to an event because you are at an event and meeting them in person. Email marketing, same thing. This number is dropping. So it is typically a 20% open rate is what you're shooting for and a 20% click-through rate. Then your website has to pick it up from there. So I have not been suggesting email to a lot of people because even if you were to purchase an email list, it's going to have to be so big to get that one. Is it really worth what you're paying? So, and then personal touch is again, that getting right in front of somebody and making a sale or starting the sales conversation. So that could be catering, bringing boxes out. If you own a cake business, taking cakes into a local restaurant saying, I would love to be your dessert person. Even on the personal side of things, a lot of people will use this to put things on mailboxes. Put things on mailboxes, not put things in mailboxes. That is illegal, federal crime. Don't anybody open your mailbox if it isn't yours. But you can like take things to the outside of people's mailboxes. Think about right now in the political season, door hangers. Door hangers are personal touch as well. Those sit up with the cold calling response rate right now. So we're typically seeing about a 5% response rate on those. Sell their products at Macy's?
Yeah.
Then I would just pull the phone number for Macy's. But that's going to be a multi-tiered cold call. If you're going to these bigger companies, it will be multi-tiered. So it will be, first call is, hey, who makes the decision on what products are placed? Then you get a product specialist name. Then you cold call the product specialist, and you're going to have to kind of move your way up through their chain and through their system. Yep. Yeah, great question. So if you want to text from a business phone number, use a software that allows it. So I am not representing this company. I used to use Grasshopper for years and years. They were bought out by Citrix. It is now GoTo that I use. And when you port your phone number over, it'll ask you and set that up in the process. So it shouldn't be a super difficult thing. It should be kind of through the process. Yep.
Is website needed or just social media?
Website is needed. In the day and age we live in, everybody needs a website. Say it with me. Everybody needs a website, especially if you are marketing. They're going to find you. And if you do any of this, they find you and you don't have a website, you just market it for your competitor. Oops. Oops. All right, next slide. Going to our mild campaigns. We're going to kind of breeze through these quickly. Mild campaigns are things that are not trackable. So we don't have any way of keeping up with the numbers. It's a hope and pray type situation. A throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. Sometimes it's amazing. Sometimes it's horrendous. Social media. I love social media, but it is a 20% click-through rate. And then again, your website has to pick it up from there. You're going to hear a lot of us say, a lot of the times I'll say things like your website will pick it up from there. Each website will have its own response rate. It just is the way it is. It's specific to your business. It's specific to how your website is built. So if you have a 10% conversion on your website, that's really, really high. Standard conversion on a website, 3 to 4%. So you get 100 people to your website, 3 to 4 will reach out to you. I'm not even saying they're customers. Sometimes they're people like, your website's ugly. You need a new website, trying to sell you, but that still counts as a contact. So it works, but it's going to be a slow process. Social media ads and Google pay per click. I could sit here all day and talk about these. I'm going to go real simple. They're same response rate as social media, 20% response rate. So if you increase your traffic through by using social media ads, same response rate, same standard that you're going to see, just with a little bit more. This is a great tool for people who are already seeing a response through social media that just want to increase that number a little bit more. Up next, monthly email newsletters. I love monthly email newsletters. People should do them. Some of you might be here today because of email newsletter. So high five to those people. It is a mild because email is a very slow response rate. It technically is trackable, but you will not see the conversion rate on this to be very high, which is why I have it on this side of things. I use it as a warm touch for people who are not ready for me yet, but it also can be used in other businesses as a reminder to come back and purchase again, as an abandoned cart tool. There's a lot of ways a monthly email newsletter can be used. Video marketing. I love video marketing. The industry of video marketing puts the most fun statistics out there. They're like, we can increase your conversion rate by 80%. Okay, yes, but you still have to get traffic to get that to work. So video marketing can be a very cool tool when it has a plan and when it is put in place appropriately in your business. I have seen way too many people that are like, hey, here's my referral or my testimonial video. It's not on their website. It's nowhere you could reach it. They're just handing it to you. I'm like, I'm already standing in front of you. I already like you. Like, why are we using a video for that? So have a plan for it. It's going to increase response rates on other campaigns like your website, like social media, but it's very costly. So it's kind of a secondary thing for most people. SEO, search engine optimization. It is the language the search engines speak, put very simply. It is a great tool for a lot of businesses. Landscape architect, you need SEO. There are certain businesses in this need. Financial planning will need it. Business broker, a lot of those people are searching for you. Nutritionists, people are searching for you and finding you through your website. Very important, but it is not a trackable campaign. There are months that you will do the same thing, same amount of work with your SEO and get nothing. And then the next month, get 10 leads. There's just nothing trackable to it. It's not really much you can do. And then direct mail campaign. These are going to be our direct mail campaigns, like every door direct mail, things that we just blast out and never follow up on. Will you get a response? Yeah, about 1%. So if you mail 100, you'll get 1. So keep that in mind with cost. Yes, it's tracking. So the question was the difference between direct mail and email being aggressive versus mild is tracking. So do you have a list? Do you have a plan to follow up with them? That's what makes it different. I want everybody to write down at least one campaign you want to take a swing at. So put that in your notes. What's one campaign you want to give a try to?
$5,000 annual.
I kind of call that mild. So what was the question again? Remind me the question.
Tactics for branding.
Tactics for a branding company. If they're doing Google work, they definitely need to be using Google SEO. So I would definitely say SEO. There's a lot of things they could do within that, but I would start there. Potentially, depending on the pace they want to get that goal to, potentially cold calling. You could find people who are not on Google Maps. There are a lot of businesses not on Google Maps. You'd be shocked, guys, shocked. And they could cold call those and ask if they could help getting that set up. Especially that's kind of close to my industry. And if you're anywhere close to my industry or just anybody in general, please don't call and tell somebody what they're doing wrong. A lot of the web designers, and God, I hope we got a few in here, a few on the call. A lot of web designers have a bad habit of telling you how ugly your website is to try to get you to do a website with them. It's not going to work. Like, that's just not classy. Let's not do that. So that's kind of what I'm saying. So if you're going to call and say, hey, I saw this is broken, I saw this is wrong, do it tactfully, do it gently, be appropriate. So does anybody want to share a campaign they're going to give a try to? Yes. Oh, I'm so proud because we talked about that. Yay. So cold calling. I love we got another cold caller in the room. Anybody else want to share? For the dance wear or for the artwork? Oh my gosh, showing your artwork would be so cool.
That's where we're trying more on the social media stuff, help with Pinterest, tags, and all that
Pinterest.
stuff.
Pinterest would be such a good business. Yeah. 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 So for the dance wear, we're talking about using social media and specifically Pinterest, which would be really cool. Yeah. So for those who missed it, we're consulting business. They're going to be doing more content. So that's going to be both social media and SEO. If you release your content slowly on your website, then every time you release content, the search engines will crawl it again and you'll get additional traffic in. So if you, like we have a client right now that we just have months and months and months of content build, that every 2 weeks I release a piece of content for them. And that's just how we approach it. So they get that recrawl slowly. Crockpot of business. All right, next slide. We're going to move quickly through the next few slides so I can get some questions answered. This is my dog. He likes to eat Post-its. Technically, there's 2 dogs now, so I feel guilty putting 1 in here. But tracking. You should have a tracking plan for your business. This is a lot better than it used to be prior to the pandemic, but I still walk into people's offices today and they are tracking with a Post-it. If you track with Post-its, I'm sending my dog into your office tomorrow. He will eat them all. And you're going to have no idea who to follow up with. It will be fun, delicious for him, and terrible for you. It is also not the sent folder on your email inbox. Accidents happen. There are IT people in the room. Accidents happen, guys. Do not trust the sent folder on your email inbox. Some tracking systems I have seen small businesses create if they are trying to save money or if they don't love the technical aspects of the system, an Excel spreadsheet or a Google spreadsheet so that you have all of your notes and all of your contact information in one place. I've seen people do it on Evernote or Google Docs if they kind of like that document style a little bit more, or a customer relationship management software, a CRM. If you've heard that term a lot and you don't know what that means, CRM. There are free CRMs out there. So if you do not have one, see me after. We'll get you one. Does anybody have questions or no plan for their tracking? Be honest. You have no plan for your tracking? That's honest. I love that. So your goal is more around farmers markets. So what I would suggest for you is your follow-up system. I would have a Google spreadsheet for the farmers markets that you've reached out to and where you're at, like a note spot for where you're at with each farmers market. And then as you're at farmers market and as you sell, have a point of sale software that can also act as a CRM. A point of sale would keep all of your individual customers. Like if you do Square, it'll hold your customers' information so you can do email campaigns, but you can also know how many you have and the progress you've made. So can I get the next slide, please? All right, the progression of a sale. This is where a lot of people lose it. They're like, I did this campaign and I got nothing. Did you touch them enough times? Now that sounds crazy. I'm sorry. Somebody had to laugh at me. Thank you. It takes on average 12 to 15 times touching a business before they convert, or a person before they convert. Is this number different across industries? Yes. You're going to see some industries that easier to find. You can call once or twice and you got them. And then you're going to see some people like, it's really tough with like estate planning attorneys. Estate planning is a big purchase. They have to touch their people time after time after time after time to really get that conversion. So I put this fun, detailed infographic up here because I like the statistics. So by contact number 3, 80% of all salespeople have now given up. 80% of business owners have given up. If you can just get to 4, you got a good shot at getting that client. Now, not all of your touches have to be the same way. Our touches, here's how my company goes. Number 1 is whatever campaign we are doing, cold calling, met them at a networking event, ran into them at the grocery store, whatever it may be, that is touch 1. Touch number 2 is going to be a follow-up email. I always send a follow-up email. It has some kind of something funny in it, lots of bold and italicized things so their eyes go to where I want them to in the email. Step 3, if they have not responded to me yet, they are getting a, did you get my email? We literally call it that. And the IT people in the room will love this. The email literally goes, hey, really bad about not getting emails to people. Did you get my last email? That's all it says. Touch 4 is typically a follow-up call. Touch 5 right now, we connect with them on LinkedIn. Touch 6 is a book offer. I've written a book, and so we offer them a free copy of the book. Touch 7, they go to my newsletter list, and my newsletter keeps them warm from there. So every month, that's an additional touch. So questions on the progression of a sale and how to do this. Also why you need a CRM, because you will forget where you're at with people. My favorite for small businesses is HubSpot. I am not affiliated with HubSpot. I don't make any money off of HubSpot. It's just a really great tool. It is free. With it, it's free up to a certain number of their services. HubSpot, HUBSPOT. It also has a really cool free, also on the free platform, that plugs into the back end of a website. That means anytime somebody goes on your website, reviews it, fills out the contact form, it will tell you where they came from, first source and second source. It will tell you what they visited before they contacted you, and then of course all their contact information. Then anytime that person comes back to your website in the future, it also tracks that because they're now a contact in your CRM. That for certain businesses, that's really helpful information. For a landscape architect, when you see that somebody's been on a page about ponds and you can pick up the phone and say, do you need a pond? Or you can ask specific questions or have specific pieces of information ready for them, it's huge. And then from a marketing perspective at the end of the year, to be able to say, I got 12 of my leads from social media, I got 10 or 15 from Google, it's a really cool tool to have at the end of the day. So does that answer CRM question? Great question. So the question is, when do you give up? If they ask you to give up, please give up. That's just weird if you keep going after that point. But if they give you no indication, if they're not responding, I also use HubSpot. HubSpot has a tracker put into email as well that'll tell you how many times they've opened the email. If I see somebody's opened it like 15 times, I'm coming for you. Like, I see you, coming for you. Next week on my calendar, I have time set up to send gift cards to local coffee shops, to businesses that I'm watching open 12 to 15 times. They haven't said yes to me yet, but they're going to get coffee out of me. So if you see stuff like that, keep going. If they say no, no. If they interact with you and it feels weird or inappropriate, give up. Weird or inappropriate of any sort, give up. Just because that might not be a good fit of a client and it might not be worth it. But if they're not responding, keep going. Especially if they're on a newsletter list. Once I put them on a newsletter list, if they haven't unsubscribed, there's still a chance. Not a big chance. There's a chance. Yes. The answer to that is both. We need that first client. If you can grab that first client outside of a marketing campaign and outside of this, if there's a friend or a family member that could refer the first client in, let's take that. Let's absolutely take that. Because once you have that first client, your confidence shoots. And now you got this, and your marketing campaign is going to be more successful. But also don't stop the marketing. There's a keyword that you said that kind of threw me off, is sophisticated. it is better to do something than nothing. So these campaigns don't have to be perfect. Guys, there are times that I cold call and there is nothing sophisticated about me picking that phone up. Like there's one day I completely forgot who I was cold calling for, and I literally had to be like, I'm sorry, I'll try that again later, and hung up. I just forgot what I was doing. It was my company. It was embarrassing. So it doesn't have to be perfect. If this feels overwhelming to you, what I typically tell entrepreneurs to do is set 30 minutes aside on their day, 15 to 30 minutes in the morning when you know people are going to be receptive. Like don't put it at 10 a.m. if you know everybody's dropping their kids off at 10 a.m. That's not a good fit. If you're a parenting coach, I would say do the afternoon, evening. But just make sure you set a little bit of time aside and do something. If you are making movement, it will eventually convert into a sale, even if it's not the way you expected it to go. Okay, so we're talking about kind of social media influencing paired in with podcasting. If you are struggling to get that following, a lot of influencers are going to use other platforms. So a lot of people have moved towards TikTok because TikTok has the most organic reach. We are getting close to time, so if you guys have to leave, please don't feel bad walking out or leaving the Zoom meeting. So TikTok has that big reach, that big organic reach that you really can't get anywhere else. I have a lot of people who have grown large TikTok profiles, and the way you're going to do that, you're going to upset the internet. You're going to pick something and you're going to upset the internet. For example, when I was single, I used TikTok to share bad dating stories. And that's how I grew mine. I'm not even joking you. I won't tell people what my profile is. Don't go look for it. It's not pretty. I'm married now. It's okay. It worked out. But if you can be that, like a little bit of controversy when appropriate, you'll get that TikTok following. You can then take that TikTok following and pull them over to Instagram to help kind of build that. You can also work on really following and interacting with other influencers on Instagram, and that'll help pull you up as well. But are you starting to see where it's kind of like a full-time job? Like, let's say you have a podcast over that you pull in through Instagram. Now you got your podcast that you got to create and edit and market and your Instagram and your TikTok. It is a young person's game, but remember, all social media platforms are diversifying. So like a lot of the news around Helene and the hurricane in general got out through TikTok and through Instagram and through Facebook. So like we're seeing feet on the ground, what's happening in Western North Carolina with people creating videos and putting it on TikTok once they got cell reception back within reason. So it's not as bad as you think it is. Yeah, and we're starting to play with ChatGPT, and I don't have enough data and enough of a path that I really want to say too much. We are doing that marketing research right now and really getting to the point where we can share a little bit more. But right now, I would say don't rely on it fully. Like be in that same spot that we're in, that we have other marketing campaigns that are running, we have other things that are going, but don't put all your eggs in that basket. Let a little bit more data come out. Let a little bit more people get out there and see what they're doing, and then start to follow in suit. Yep. But it's very cool. Very cool what it can do. Miss Virginia, do you want to wrap us up and then we'll answer questions at the end? One more question? Yep. Great question. So for Zoom, the question was, what do we do for people who are not actively looking for our service? So like if I call somebody and they say, hey, I do have marketing. Typically I will then ask if they say, hey, I have so-and-so, I've had them for years and I love them. If it's an appropriate enough conversation, I'll ask like, hey, can I add you to my email newsletter list and just stay in touch with you? If they're trying to rush me off the phone and I can feel it, I'll just say, hey, I'm going to send you a follow-up email with my contact information. If anything ever changes, here's my contact information. And then I'll step back and stop marketing to them. And then some people, they'll say it and then they'll start to complain about the person. If they start to complain, stay on the phone and start asking questions. Just be ready to go with questions, because I've heard that happen too. Yep. Did I answer that well? Yeah, perfect.
Well, thank you so much. We want to be very grateful and thank
Ashley.
the presenter.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you everyone for your attendance, and for those of you on Zoom, I tried to address everything. If I did not, please get on the website, get some time with Ashley. She'll be able to help you out.
Happy to answer those questions.
And no matter what, I have to put in a plug about SCORE volunteers.
Yes, please.
We are really looking for support as a SCORE volunteer. So if you do have enough experience with business, even though you're trying to start your own, but you do have experience in any kind of form of business and you'd like to kind of work with SCORE, we're really looking for volunteers to help other new businesses, especially if you already are kind of, let's say, 2 years in, and you can easily help someone that's just starting. That's perfect because it's different than somebody that's never started a business.
You will learn a couple of things too.
Right. So
Amen.
definitely, if you need a mentor, send us an email and we'll direct you. Go on our website, score.org, and request the mentor. Good. Did I miss anything else?
No, you're awesome.
Okay. Thank you, John, for our technical support here. Thank you very much. You've been extremely helpful, along with Nico in the back. And of course, Ashley, thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for your presentation.
Thank you.
Toute ma jeunesse,